Zionism, in its biblical foundation, is often misunderstood as a mere nationalist movement of the Jewish people. Yet its deepest roots lie not in conquest or ethnic supremacy, but in a divinely inspired vision of righteousness, justice, and peace for all mankind. Through the lens of Scripture, Zionism reveals itself not as exclusionary, but as a model of ethical living, a template for environmental stewardship and universal justice. Grounded in the Hebrew Bible, Zionism calls for equality among all people, the rejection of unjust warfare, the protection of creation, and the pursuit of moral love and justice, culminating in a prophetic vision of peace for all nations. Let's explore more into this. Number 1. Zionism teaches the equality of all people and races. The foundation of biblical Zionism begins with the recognition that all humanity is created in the image of God. Let's examine the scriptures relating to this. Genesis 1:27. So God created mankind in his own image. In the image of God he created them. Male and female he created them. This radical affirmation means that no race, tribe, or nation is inherently superior, and that all races of people are created in the image of God. This biblical call to love the stranger and the foreigner is also repeated again and again in Leviticus 19:34. The foreigner residing among you must be treated as your native born. Love them as yourself. Including Deuteronomy 10:17. For the Lord your God shows no partiality and accepts no bribes. And Deuteronomy 32 verse 8. When the Most High gave the nations their inheritance, he set up boundaries for the peoples. Zionism, rooted in these teachings, is not about ethnic dominance, but about creating a holy society in the land of Israel that reflects God's universal love and justice. Also, the inclusion of women as leaders, such as Deborah in Judges 4:9, and the outpouring of God's Spirit on all flesh in Joel 2:28 and 29, highlight this inclusivity. Number 2, Zionism teaches that warfare is intrinsically unethical. While Israel's history certainly includes conflict and war, the Bible repeatedly emphasizes that war is not the ideal goal. Zionism's ultimate vision is one of peace, not as a strategy, but as a moral imperative. Let's examine the scriptures on this. Exodus 20, verse 13, you shall not murder. Isaiah 2, verses 3 and 4, in the near future, nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. Psalm 46, verse 9, he makes wars cease to the ends of the earth. 1 Chronicles 28, verse 3. In fact, David was not permitted to build the temple because he had shed much blood. The prophetic hope of Zionism is not empire or dominance, but the transformation of weapons into tools of agriculture, a clear metaphor for life over destruction, peace over war. Number 3, Zionism calls for environmental stewardship of the land and animals. The biblical mandate to care for the earth is a central part of Zionist ethics. The land of Israel is not merely a possession, it is a divine trust. Genesis 2:15, humanity was placed in the garden to work it and take care of it. Exodus 23:10-11, the land must rest every 7th year, so the poor and animals may benefit. Leviticus 25:4-7, the Sabbath year and Jubilee laws protect the earth from overuse and overconsumerism. Proverbs 12:10, a righteous man cares for the needs of his animal, showing that animal abuse is never accepted before God. Next, let's examine the eating of only kosher animals described in Leviticus 11. In the Jewish dietary laws of kashrut, only certain animals are permitted for consumption. These animals, especially cattle and chickens, are generally domesticated, bred, and raised in controlled agricultural systems. Non-kosher animals, such as the predator species, often play crucial roles in the wild. Their exclusion helps preserve ecological balance. These kosher laws do not disrupt natural wildlife habitats and their ecosystems. Zionism, therefore, is deeply tied to agricultural ethics, animal compassion, and ecological balance, not exploitation. Number 4, Zionism upholds love for neighbor through biblical morality. At the heart of Zionism is the Torah's ethical demand to love and protect one's neighbor, and even the stranger. Let's look at some examples of this. Leviticus 19:18, love your neighbor as yourself. Exodus 22:21, 23:9, Do not mistreat or oppress a foreigner. Deuteronomy 24:17 through 18. Justice is to be upheld for the widow, the orphan, and the stranger. This love is expressed not sentimentally, but through a comprehensive moral code, respecting life, marriage, property, truth, and dignity. Zionism seeks to embody these values in national life, shaping a society that reflects divine righteousness. Number 5. Zionism promotes justice for all people and nations. Justice is not a privilege for the few, but a divine requirement for everyone under heaven. Micah 6:8. What does the Lord require of you? To act justly and to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God. Isaiah 1:17. Seek justice, defend the oppressed. Zechariah 7:9 through 10. Administer true justice, show mercy and compassion to one another. In this light, Zionism is a moral mission to establish a nation where justice rolls down like waters. Amos 5:24. Setting an example for all other peoples and as a template for righteous living. Number 6. Zionism's ultimate goal is peace for all mankind. Far from being tribal or violent, the final vision of Zionism is a world filled with peace, harmony, and divine knowledge. Some examples of this are Isaiah 54:13. All your children will be taught by the Lord, and great will be their peace. Micah 4:2. Many nations will come and say, let us go up to the mountain of the Lord. He will judge between many peoples and will settle disputes for strong nations far and wide. They will beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Zechariah 8:19 says, love truth and peace. In this vision, Zion, God's chosen dwelling, is not a fortress but a light to the nations, Isaiah 42:6, drawing all peoples toward unity, joy, and reconciliation. Conclusion: a Zionism for all humanity. True Zionism is not merely nationalism in the modern political sense. It is a spiritual, ethical calling grounded in the Hebrew Bible. It teaches that all human beings are equal, that war is a violation of God's peace, that the earth and animals must be protected, and that justice and compassion must guide every aspect of society. The final goal of Zionism is not merely the restoration of Israel, but the renewal of the world, in which Israel is a servant nation, modeling holiness, justice, and peace. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation. They shall sit every man under his vine and fig tree, and none shall make them afraid. Micah 4:3 through 4.